On today's show, we have Bathsheba, whom you all know as King David's mistress turned wife. And there's been some rumors floating around about an illegitimate child between Bathsheba and the king, and maybe a murder of Bathsheba's husband. So we're here to set the record straight. So please welcome on Bathsheba. Bathsheba, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good.
Good.
Okay, Bathsheba. Well, the audience knows a little bit about you, but we'd like to know some more. So if you can, please tell us how you met King David.
Well, I was bathing one evening, and it wasn't a good time of the month for me, so it was a much needed bath.
Oh, we all understand that.
Right. You're a woman, you understand.
Yes, yeah.
Anyway, so I answered the door because there were a couple of knocks every now and then, and I thought they'd go away, but then they're like, "Oh, we're the king's men," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I opened the door, and there were these two men right there, and they're just like, "Hey, the king wants to see you." So I went with them, and the king introduced me, and he introduced himself to me, and we had dinner, and and then he showed me his bedroom, and the rest is history.
What exactly happened?
Well, we spent the night together, and it's hard to just say we spent the night together because I was married and my husband was off at war, and it wasn't a very good thing to do to my husband, but I couldn't help myself. I was just in the moment with the king, and he just looked so good, and I was smitten. So.
Yeah. And how did you feel about being with the king? Like, did you feel guilty?
I felt so guilty afterwards. I thought to myself, I can't believe I just did this. I mean, I'm married. I have a husband, and he's off at war, and I felt really bad.
But there's rumors about an illegitimate child involved?
Yes, there was. We woke up the next morning, and I went back home, and I didn't see him for a while, and then I found out that I actually was pregnant, and I was horrified because that meant that King David was the father. So
did your husband know?
He didn't, as far as I'm concerned, because when he went off to war, he never came back.
What happened?
The last time I saw him was when he left. I asked King David if he could send for Uriah, and he did. And we both thought it was the right thing to do. When we found out, David was horrified because, this wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah,
really.
Of course.
It was just, So he sent for Uriah, and Uriah never came home, from what I understand. But when I asked David afterwards if Uriah even responded, he said that Uriah came back with his men, but he never left. He never came home to me. So I can only assume that he felt that he needed to stay with the men, and so he did. So,
well, I'm so sorry about that.
Me too. Thanks.
And whatever happened to the child with David?
The child actually didn't make it. He's not.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
He's not alive. He got sick very soon after he was born, and he was sick for a very long time, and then he died. He went with the Lord.
I'm so sorry about your loss.
Thank you. As they say, the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away.
Yes, yes. And do you feel there are any lessons that you've learned about this whole situation?
I think that it taught us that what we did was wrong, and I think that God wasn't trying to reward us for what happened. I think that He wanted to make sure that we did things the right way, and it was hard for us to.
I understand that.
Yeah, it kind of like retribution for what happened. Like God punished us for the sin that we committed.
So after your child died, whatever happened with you and David?
Well, I actually ended up marrying David, and we lived a very happy life in the palace, and he was a great king. we butt heads every now and then as husband and wife too.
We all do.
You know, he snores, and he always leaves the toilet seat up, and he's actually not very as romantic as he was when we first met. You know, I think the honeymoon period has definitely died, but there's no doubt that he is a good king. And
any future kids or anything?
Well, we're trying for more. If we have a boy, I'm going to name him Solomon.
Oh, that's a very beautiful name.
Thank you.
All right, Bathsheba. Well, thank you for being on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Tune in next week where we'll have King David himself on the show to hear his side of the story.